Today we'll be playing some Forza Motorsport 5. Perhaps along with Mario Kart and the MX vs. ATV series. The Forza Motorsport series is one of my favorites. As usual, this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel later on. Be right back. I'm back. Sorry, I just had to go do something. Let's go ahead and choose this. Alright. Let me... do something. Yeah, I would want it in orange. I like the color orange. It's not my favorite color, but I like it. So let me see what cars I have. So yeah, if you're watching this on Twitch, I will link. I just linked, but I linked my YouTube channel, and Nightbot linked it as well. So definitely check out my YouTube channel because I have way more content there, and Twitch will delete this channel, or not this channel, sorry, Twitch will delete this video, this live stream, after 14 days. So what I usually do is when I'm done, streaming, I wait for a little bit, maybe like half an hour at most, and then I will actually download the video from Twitch and then just upload it to YouTube. So you'll always see my Twitch streams on my YouTube channel. And yeah. So yeah, that's why if you ever want to see this, that's why I promote my YouTube channel here so much. More than I promote Twitch on YouTube. Because YouTube will keep my videos up longer in Twitch. And I put way more content on YouTube, and I spend way more time there. So yeah, you can watch this anytime you want on YouTube once it's uploaded. I actually want to try something out. I want to see if I can post the. Not only can I post, which I know I can post the link, but I want to see what will happen after 14 days if I post the link to YouTube, the link to this video, if I can. So yeah, I play, I mentioned earlier I like the Mario Kart Wii series, the Mario Kart series, but I've only played one game and that's Mario Kart Wii, but I like it enough. I played just about every MX versus ATV. I think I have played every MX versus ATV game. So yeah, I like that series. My favorite is probably Untamed, the MX versus ATV series. MX vs. ATV All Out is probably my second favorite game in the series, and my third favorite would probably be MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. I played in the Forza Motorsport series. I played Forza Motorsport 2, Forza Motorsport 4, Forza Motorsport 5, and Forza Motorsport 6. And I can honestly say, this is my second time playing Forza Motorsport 5. So, I had I'd say I preferred Forza Motorsport 4 solely because it took me longer to complete the series. Or complete the game. The career mode. So I actually like the Need for Speed series, but anytime anytime there's a drifting challenge, I don't enjoy that. Just because it's so hard for me to do those. I'm not very good at drifting. That's why Need for Speed Undercover is my favorite, actually, of the series. But even though I never really complete the games other than Need for Speed Undercover, I still enjoy them, playing them. One thing I like about the Forza series is that, yeah, the races tend to be easy. At least on the difficulty that the game comes with. That comes in. The difficulty I play on. But what I like is there's just so much of that just because there's so many of them, it makes it tedious, but that's why that makes it enjoyable. In my opinion. Because of how long the races take and how tedious they are. And how tedious it is to complete the races. That's just my opinion of it. Yeah, I'm not gonna press Y to rewind. At least we won the race, though. At least we won. Granted, our car was damaged, but one thing I like I enjoy playing the Formula 1 series. I played Formula 1 2018 and Formula 1 2019, but I prefer, games like I like the Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing series. So one thing I prefer is that I don't like about Formula 1. But that's what makes it so more challenging and enjoyable in a sense, but also doesn't make it as enjoyable at the same time. Is that with not Formula, but Forza 1 and like Mario Kart Wii and like Need for Speed, you can't do this in MX versus ATV Untamed because you crash a lot. But in those 3 games that I just mentioned, you can actually crash into other cars and you won't get penalized for it. And personally, when I'm playing a racing game, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy actually racing just as much as I enjoy bumping into other cars. Granted, this isn't me hating on Formula 1 because it's still a good game. And it's still a great series overall. I still enjoy playing it. I just don't enjoy playing it as much as others. If that makes any sense. I guess for the MX versus ATV series, if you have depends on the car. Basically, if you use MXs a lot, like I do, you can't really you can't really bump into other drivers because you're gonna crash. And I prefer using MXs because they're just my favorite type of vehicle in those games. Just a personal opinion. I guess depending on the vehicle you use. Oh, we're supposed to pass as many cars as we can. I guess depending on the vehicle you use, you can, but the races I like to do, it makes it more challenging if you just randomly bump into other drivers. So, for those of you that play racing games, what racing games do you enjoy the most? And what series? Like, I mentioned the Forza Motorsport series I enjoy. The MX vs. ATV series, Mario Kart I enjoy. And to a lesser extent, Formula 1 series. There's also the TT Alaman series that I like. They're like 2 games released. And there's another. I can't see the name of it's a PS2 game, but I can't see the name of it from here, from where I'm sitting. But that's a game to a lesser extent I like. Man, the TT Alaman Racing on the Edge, I believe that game is called. It is so hard. You see, this is the type of advantage I like that you really don't see in Formula 1. Because with TT the Man series, regardless of the game, it is so hard to control it is extremely hard and difficult to control the vehicle. And in any other game, that doesn't make it fun. But the TT Alaman, that I don't know why, but they just make it fun. They make controlling the car difficult fun. Like Formula 1, you can control the car easily. It's just that if you can't really bump into anyone in that video game series. You can't really, like, if they're near you and traveling faster, you have to let them pass. You can't, you really can't go off the well, I don't know if you can change the settings, but settings I have here, which are the ones that came with, I didn't change any settings in terms of that, in terms of the rules, but, you know, you can't really go off the course as much as maybe other racing games. Without getting penalized as well. I do enjoy watching Formula 1, though. That's, you know, with all the other games, racing games I mentioned, like, even NASCAR. I like NASCAR, but I'd say Formula 1 is more interesting than NASCAR, because NASCAR, you're basically seeing a bunch of drivers turn left at, like, 200 miles per hour for, like, a couple hundred laps. And they have to pass each other, but it's unlikely those who start in the back will, in any race, win. But Formula 1, in terms of watching in real life, you have all these twists and turns, and that makes it, you know, the race isn't one big circle, and that's something I like about it. That's why I prefer watching Formula 1 to NASCAR. Which stinks, because most of the Formula 1 races, they tend to be in countries, Europe and Asia. Which means if I want to catch it live, I have to get up early. And I know myself, I'm not going to get up early. Especially since I go to bed late. And I'm in the habit of going to bed late. I know for a fact I'm not going to get up early. Because I'll be too tired to watch the race. Well, I've actually started watching Ajax games on replay with ESPN+. I need to find the proper way to watch Chelsea games. You know, to follow other club games that I want to watch. So I'm going to edit my schedule on Twitch. So I want to start watching sports when they come on in the evening. A sports semi-sport. So that all depends on which sports are playing and because I prefer watching the regular season to the playoffs. Now, the only, unless it's college, because college, when they're counting the statistics, they include the regular season and postseason. Well, the NCAA does. Whereas in the NBA, they just count the regular season. And they keep that separate from the playoffs. So if it's like professional, I prefer watching, you know, the regular season, unless it's soccer, where you have like things like the FIFA World Cup and the Champions League on each continent. I like watching the playoffs there, because they're just like college sports. They count the statistics in the playoffs as they do. You know, as same with the group stage, in terms of tournaments, unless it's the Major League Soccer. But I do follow the playoffs in professional sports. I just don't enjoy actively watching them, because I enjoy watching. I don't like if it's I like mainly watching it for the stats, you know. See how much points each player scores, or how many times they do this or that, depending on the sport. Now, so I'll watch the postseason for college and soccer tournaments. What was I gonna say? Now, oh yeah. Now, if it's a team that hasn't won in a long time, or a team I support, and they're like playing in the finals, yeah, I'll watch them. Or if it's in terms of like professional sports, you know, non-professional soccer. Or if it's like where both teams in the championship haven't won a title before, I'd watch that. Like back in 2016, I actually watched I watched all 7 games of the World Series live on TV. Because my favorite team, one of my favorite baseball teams, the Chicago Cubs, were playing. And 2, the team they faced, Cleveland. Cleveland hadn't won in 78 years. Chicago hadn't won in 108. Or Cleveland hadn't won like 76 or 78. So not only did you have several teams that haven't won a championship in several decades, one of my favorite teams was playing. So I would follow that. Now, if it's one team hasn't won a championship, I don't think I'll follow the series. I may, like, the Super Bowl may be the only exception. Just because there's only one game. You know, I watched this past Super Bowl between Kansas City and San Francisco, and I did not like either team. Although San Francisco has a quarterback I like named Jimmy Garoppolo. So, yeah, the Super Bowl will be the sole exception in professional sports where I'll watch the game no matter what. Just because it's one game. Now, I usually watch a little bit of the final game. Now, if I don't support either team in the championship series, you know, in like baseball, in like Major League Baseball, the NHL, I actually want to start watching the MLS final. Like, I need to get in the habit of using ESPN Plus more. So, the MLS Cup final will be another exception where I'll watch regardless, because it's just one game. Now, if it's like the NHL, Major League Baseball, or NBA Finals, where it's like the best of 7, unless the team I'm supporting is in the championship series, I usually won't be watching. But I will watch the final maybe minutes of the game, final quarter of the game, of the very last game. I guess since it's best of 7, you have to win at least 3 games. A team has to win at least 3 games in order for me to look at their 4th and final game if they win. Like last year, I guess it would be technically earlier this year. Wait, yeah. No, it would be last year. My bad, because the NBA Finals got delayed, so that's why I was confusing. That's why I was confused. Okay, so the NBA Finals, Toronto hadn't won in like I think they won like either 4-2 or 4-3. If it was 4-2 or 4-1, 4-0, which I don't think it was 4 to. I think it was like 4-2 or 4-3, 4-2, 4-3, something like that. I will. I watched like the last. Well, that's something, you know. I watched the last bits of the game when they were of game. I believe it was game 5. I know, for sure the next to last game, like the last game they lost, and the time they won their 4th game. I watched a little bit of each game because my mom and I are huge basketball fans, and my mom and I are huge basketball fans, and I'd say most of the time when either of us are supporting a team, and we're actively watching the game, that team tends to lose. So I was like watching. I decided to look at a little bit of the final parts of each game and see who would win. And Toronto beat Golden State. So there's some exceptions to that when the teams I usually support. Like, I'm not a fan of Toronto, but entering the NBA Finals last year, they had yet to win a championship. So I would much rather see them win than the Warriors repeat. So that's why I supported the Raptors for that series only. 2015, the NLCS. I wanted to see if Chicago would make the first World Series appearance at that time in 70 years. They lost to the New York Mets. That series, they lost in like 4 games, but I watched like every game. Most, if not all, of the game. Well, they lost, but I guess the exception to team I support losing would be the 2016 World Series, where I wanted Chicago to win. So it looks like we're gonna win this. Yep. Oh, hold on. So I'm from America, so like other sports, like we call so maybe most of the world it would be called football. But in America for sure it would be soccer. So that's why you hear me call that sport soccer. Soccer it's a growing sport, but it isn't that popular. So I actually got into Australian rules football last year, but I started watching games this year. So I like Australian rules football, but it's not even remotely popular here. So I know that's mainly popular in Australia. Rugby is probably, of all the physical sports, probably rugby's my favorite. I got into that this year, and I love watching it. I've watched the National Rugby League, which is in Australia and New Zealand, and a little bit of the Guinness Pro 14 and Super Rugby. A couple of other leagues as well. Another league. And Major League Rugby here in the US and possibly Canada. But I love watching that. I like it more than American football. In terms of, I think I like to play it more than American football and like watching it. But in terms of, like, I'm a big guy, big in terms of statistics. In terms of statistics, I'd actually rather watch American football, but rugby is hands down more entertaining. So I know that's more popular. I think it'd be rugby union, because I believe I always get these two confused. One of either rugby league or rugby union. One of them is where you can only get tackled 6 times, and then you have to change possession. The other one you can't. The other one you basically, the team literally has to take the ball away from you. In order to get possession. And the one that the one that has unlimited amount of tackles, and they can still essentially unlimited amount of tackles, and you can still retain possession. That's the rugby I like more. I think it's more entertaining than American football. I know Gaelic football. I've never seen a game. I learned rugby and American football, or not American. I learned basically the basic rules of rugby, league and rugby union. Well, basically one of them from playing Rugby 20, a video game, and the other one I learned from watching. I learned the basic rules of American football from playing like Madden. That's how I taught myself about those sports. Australian rules football I learned from a video game. Baseball and hockey I primarily learned from watching as well. And basketball I played as a kid. Basketball and soccer I played as a kid, but I was never very good at those sports. So that's how I learned about those sports. I basically learned to play most sports from watching them or playing a video game. Gaelic football is not one of those games. I do not understand how to play Gaelic football. I have never seen a game. If you're to present a match of Gaelic football, it would more than likely, actually it would for sure be my first time watching Gaelic football. Which stinks because it's not even remotely popular here, and I like to learn it. Cricket, on the other hand, I've played cricket video games. I've watched cricket video games. I've actually had the rules explain it to me one time, but that was like years ago and I forgot. Cricket is the one sport I've actually played video games over and watched, and I cannot understand it. Which I would really like to learn how to play cricket. Like, with all the other sports I know how to play. I know how to play baseball, and I know how to play ice hockey. I can't do them very well. If I were to play baseball, I couldn't properly... I know for a fact I couldn't hit... I know for a fact I couldn't make contact with the ball, let alone get a hit. I could literally be the size of Montana, the state of Montana, and I would still literally not make contact with myself or either myself or the bat. That's how bad I am. Pitching, I doubt I can actually throw the entire distance from the mound to the plate to the catcher. Let's just say this, for those of you that know T-ball for baseball, I couldn't hit the ball. That's how bad I am. That's how bad I am. Hockey, I like, when I say know how to play, I know the basic rules. Like basketball, the one good thing I'm at is shooting the basketball, and that's about it. American football, I like to play. I played a little bit in middle school and hockey, or not hockey, high school. Let me mute my mic for a second. Hold on.